The Tuesday that changed everything. Commander Jade Rodriguez had always believed that Tuesdays were cursed. Not in the dramatic, world-ending way that most people associate with Mondays, but in that subtle, insidious manner where everything goes just wrong enough to be annoying. Today, however, Tuesday had decided to outdo itself by serving up an alien invasion right in the middle of her coffee break. The massive fleet materialized just beyond Mars's orbit at precisely 2:47 p.m. Earth Standard Time, their ships arranged in what they probably thought was an intimidating formation but honestly looked more like a drunk game of space Tetris. Commander Rodriguez was halfway through her third espresso when the alert came through, the bitter liquid freezing halfway to her lips as she muttered, "You have got to be kidding me." The timing couldn't have been worse. She'd just started a new Netflix series, one of those addictive Korean dramas that somehow managed to combine romance, time travel, and corporate intrigue into a single coherent narrative. The next episode was queued up on her personal tablet, taunting her with its unwatched status. The alien ships were something else entirely. Sleek crystalline structures that seemed to absorb and reflect sunlight in ways that defied physics, they were beautiful in an otherworldly way that made Earth's most advanced spacecraft look like children's toys. The main fleet consisted of 7 massive vessels, each easily the size of Manhattan, arranged in a formation that vaguely resembled the Big Dipper, if the Big Dipper had been designed by an architect with a fondness for non-Euclidean geometry. "Status report," Rodriguez barked, her voice carrying across the suddenly silent United Earth Defense Command Center. The massive screens that dominated the wall switched from their usual display of global defense metrics to real-time footage of the alien fleet. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, no relation to Admiral Chen, pulled up the preliminary scans. "The vessels appear to be composed of some sort of crystalline material we've never encountered before, Commander. Energy readings are off the charts, and they're generating gravitational distortions that shouldn't be possible according to our current understanding of physics. So basically, they're showing off," Rodriguez summarized, taking another sip of her now lukewarm coffee. "Fantastic." The aliens didn't waste time with subtlety. Their message came through on every frequency known to mankind, plus a few that telecommunications companies had been planning to auction off next quarter. The voice that filled the command center managed to sound both condescending and monotonous simultaneously, like a particularly unimpressed DMV employee who had somehow acquired godlike powers. "Citizens of the primitive world designated as Earth," the message began, causing several officers to roll their eyes at the cliché. "We are the Galactic Empire of the Seven Suns. Your world has been chosen for integration into our glorious empire. Resistance is, well, you know the rest." Admiral Chen arrived at the command center still wearing his Argyle sweater vest, having been pulled from what he claimed was a crucial diplomatic engagement on the golf course. He took one look at the transmission and snorted. "Really? They're going with that line. Next, they'll be asking to speak to Earth's manager." The emergency protocol kicked in with surprising efficiency, considering it had been written by a committee of bureaucrats who had never expected to use it. Within hours, the leaders of Earth's major military powers were gathered in a virtual conference that looked suspiciously like a Zoom meeting gone wrong. "Has anyone tried turning the alien fleet off and on again?" the Russian general asked, completely straight-faced. Several attendees actually checked their mute buttons to hide their laughter. Commander Rodriguez, now on her 6th espresso and seriously considering whether caffeine poisoning was preferable to alien invasion, took charge of the diplomatic response. "We should at least hear them out," she suggested, "before we decide how best to kick their crystalline posteriors back to whatever spacetime coordinate they came from." The Empire's ambassador appeared on screen, a being that looked like someone had tried to cross a peacock with a desk lamp. Its crystalline form shifted and refracted light in mesmerizing patterns as it spoke, though the effect was somewhat undermined by the fact that it was using what appeared to be the alien equivalent of PowerPoint. "We bring you the gift of civilization," it announced grandly, causing Admiral Chen to choke on his coffee. "Did they seriously just white man's burden the entire planet in 2124, he muttered, earning a sharp look from Rodriguez. The diplomatic exchange went downhill from there. Earth's representatives tried to explain concepts like sovereignty and self-determination while the Empire's ambassador kept referring to humanity as charming primitives who hadn't even achieved universal faster-than-light travel yet. The condescension in its tone made Rodriguez wonder if this was how her grandmother had felt when tech support asked her if she tried restarting her computer. "Look," Rodriguez finally said, her patience wearing thinner than the office coffee, "we appreciate the offer, but we're going to have to decline. We've got our own problems to sort out, like whether pineapple belongs on pizza and why anyone thought reality TV was a good idea." The Empire's response was to send their ultimatum, delivered with all the subtlety of a brick through a window. Their flagship projected a massive hologram visible from Earth's surface, a technical achievement somewhat undermined by the fact that they'd used Comic Sans font for their threats. "You have 24 Earth hours to surrender," the message proclaimed. "We have analyzed your defensive capabilities and found them wanting. Your most powerful weapons are barely sufficient to scratch our hull paint." Admiral Chen looked at Commander Rodriguez. Commander Rodriguez looked at Admiral Chen. Both of them looked at the emergency protocols manual, which had helpfully burst into flames. "Well," Chen said, straightening his golf sweater, "I suppose we should start planning Earth's response. Anyone know if Bruce Willis is available?" Rodriguez pulled up the global defense networks on her screen, a smile slowly spreading across her face. "You know what? I think it's time we showed our new friends why you don't pick a fight with a species that invented both nuclear fusion and reality television. We're really good at chaos." As the command center burst into activity, Rodriguez couldn't help but think that this Tuesday had officially crossed the line from annoying to historically significant. She made a mental note to update her calendar, 2:47 p.m. coffee break interrupted by alien invasion. Reschedule Korean drama binge watch. The next 24 hours would determine the fate of humanity, and Commander Jade Rodriguez had no intention of letting Earth go down without a fight. Besides, she reasoned as she ordered her 7th espresso of the day, if they were going to face an alien empire, they might as well do it properly caffeinated. Little did the Galactic Empire of the Seven Suns know that they had just kicked a hornet's nest full of caffeine-addicted, chaos-loving humans who had spent centuries preparing for alien invasions through movies, video games, and increasingly improbable science fiction scenarios. Earth was about to show them exactly why some planets are better left alone, especially during coffee break. Operation Viral Defense. Dr. Raj Patel hadn't slept in 36 hours, and it showed. His normally immaculate lab coat bore scorch marks from 3 separate experiments, his hair looked like it had been styled by a curious raccoon, and he'd been giggling intermittently for the past hour. In other words, he was operating at peak efficiency. "You're telling me," Admiral Chen said slowly, staring at the holographic display in the center of the emergency command center, "that we can defeat an advanced alien empire with TikTok dances?" "Not just TikTok dances," Dr. Patel corrected, his eyes gleaming with the special kind of madness that only comes from combining sleep deprivation with scientific breakthrough. "We're talking about weaponized mimetic warfare on a scale never before attempted. Those crystalline ships. They're basically giant resonance chambers. And you know what happens when you hit the right frequency?" Commander Rodriguez, now approaching her 15th cup of coffee, leaned forward. "They shatter." "Better," Patel grinned. "They dance." The hologram shifted to show a complex diagram of interlocking waveforms and energy patterns. "We've been studying the crystalline structure of their ships since they arrived. The material isn't just some fancy alien alloy, it's a complex network of quantum-entangled particles that responds to specific vibrational frequencies. And guess what Earth has been pumping out into space for the past century? Cat videos?" Lieutenant Chen suggested from her monitoring station. "Entertainment," Patel exclaimed. "Music, videos, social media trends, all riding on electromagnetic waves that have been spreading through space since we first started broadcasting. The aliens' ships aren't just susceptible to these frequencies, they're practically designed to amplify them. Admiral Chen pinched the bridge of his nose. Dr. Patel, are you suggesting we defend Earth by turning the alien fleet into the galaxy's largest disco ball? That's just Phase 1, Patel replied, pulling up another set of diagrams. Phase 2 involves something I like to call, the greatest hits of human chaos. Around the globe, civilian infrastructure was being transformed into military assets in ways that would make MacGyver proud. The Space Needle in Seattle became a literal needle, a giant signal broadcaster. The Sydney Opera House's shells opened to reveal experimental sonic weapons. Even the International Space Station got an upgrade, though the astronauts complained that the new weapon systems were interfering with their Netflix connection. The Empire's surveillance picked up none of this. Their advanced sensors, calibrated to detect conventional military preparations, completely missed the fact that humanity was essentially turning Earth into one giant practical joke. They saw the unusual energy signatures but dismissed them as primitive attempts at communication. Meanwhile, in a secret facility beneath the Gobi Desert, Dr. Lisa Wong was putting the finishing touches on what she called the cultural cannon. The massive array of satellites and ground-based transmitters was designed to broadcast Earth's most potent cultural weapons directly into the alien fleet's crystalline matrix. The beauty of it, she explained to Commander Rodriguez via secure video link, is that we're not just attacking their ships, we're infiltrating their entire command structure. These crystalline beings communicate through harmonic resonance. Once we start broadcasting, their entire fleet will become one giant amplifier for. She paused for dramatic effect and pressed a button. The test chamber filled with the opening notes of "Never Gonna Give You Up." "Are you telling me," Rodriguez said, fighting back a grin, "that we're going to rickroll an alien invasion fleet?" "That's just the warm-up," Wong replied. "Wait until you see what happens when we hit them with Baby Shark." In orbit, the Empire's fleet maintained their threatening formation, unaware that they were about to become part of the largest forced flash mob in galactic history. Their ambassador continued to send increasingly impatient messages demanding Earth's surrender, each one written in progressively larger Comic Sans font. The humans, for their part, were having the time of their lives. Social media had exploded with memes about the invasion, #AlienKaren was trending worldwide, and someone had already created a parody TikTok account pretending to be the Empire's ambassador giving makeup tutorials using their crystalline appearance. In the command center, Admiral Chen watched the countdown timer with an unusual sense of calm. "You know," he remarked to Rodriguez, "when I woke up this morning, I thought the biggest challenge of my day would be improving my golf swing." "When this is over," Rodriguez replied, starting on her 20th coffee, "I'm either getting a raise or a psychiatric evaluation. Possibly both." The Empire's deadline was approaching, and humanity's response was almost ready. Dr. Patel's team had successfully synchronized every broadcasting device on Earth, from radio telescopes to smartphone towers. Dr. Wong's cultural cannon was primed and loaded with what she called the greatest hits of human attention deficit entertainment. "Status report," Rodriguez called out, her voice carrying across the command center. "Global Broadcast Network synchronized at 98%, Lieutenant Chen reported. Satellite array in position. International Space Station reports all systems green, though they're still complaining about their Netflix. Cultural cannon charged and ready," Dr. Wong's voice came through the speakers. "Meme database loaded and indexed. We've got everything from Nyan Cat to the latest TikTok trends." "Dr. Patel?" Rodriguez turned to the disheveled scientist, who was now wearing his lab coat backwards and hadn't stopped grinning for the past 3 hours. "Resonance frequencies calculated and locked in," he reported. "The moment we start broadcasting, those ships are going to experience every viral trend, earworm, and dance craze of the past century simultaneously. It's either going to be the greatest party in galactic history or. Admiral Chen prompted. "Or we're about to discover if advanced alien civilizations have the equivalent of a blue screen of death." As the deadline approached its final hour, Rodriguez stood at her command station, looking at the massive screens showing the alien fleet. The crystalline ships hung in space like frozen fireworks, beautiful and threatening. In less than 60 minutes, they would either be humanity's conquerors or the stars of the most elaborate flash mob ever attempted. You know, she said to no one in particular, when the aliens finally showed up, I always thought we'd face them with some kind of advanced technology or powerful weapons. Instead, Admiral Chen replied, adjusting his golf sweater, we're going to fight them with Rick Astley in dance moves. Well, Rodriguez smiled, raising her 21st coffee cup in a toast, they wanted to see Earth's culture. I say we give them everything we've got. The countdown continued, and humanity prepared to demonstrate why you should never underestimate a species that turned social media into an art form and considered viral videos a valid form of communication. The Empire was about to learn that sometimes, the most powerful weapons aren't the ones that destroy, they're the ones that make you want to dance. The greatest show in space. The Empire's deadline expired at exactly 2:47 p.m. Earth Standard Time, 24 hours after their arrival. The alien ambassador appeared on screens worldwide, its crystalline form pulsing with what it probably thought was menacing authority but actually looked more like a disco ball having an identity crisis. Your time has elapsed, primitives, it announced. Prepare for. Commander Rodriguez cut the transmission mid-sentence. Sorry, she said to the blank screen, but Earth's got other plans. Dr. Patel, Dr. Wong, light them up. What happened next would be remembered in human history as the moment Earth weaponized its entire entertainment industry. Dr. Wong's cultural cannon activated first, sending a concentrated beam of pure human chaos directly at the alien fleet. The initial payload? Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up, amplified by every broadcasting station on the planet. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The crystalline ships, designed to absorb and channel energy, did exactly that, just not in the way their designers had intended. The flagship's surface began to pulse in rhythm with the music, its geometric patterns shifting and swirling like the world's largest mood ring. They're dancing, Lieutenant Chen reported, staring at her monitors in disbelief. The alien ships are actually dancing. Dr. Patel, who had somehow acquired a party hat without leaving his station, was practically bouncing with excitement. That's just the beginning. Dr. Wong hit them with Phase 2. Phase 2 turned out to be Baby Shark, remixed with every viral song from the past century. The result was an unholy fusion of Gangnam Style, What Does the Fox Say, the Macarena, and dozens of TikTok trends, all synchronized to create what Dr. Wong had termed maximum earworm impact. In space, the alien fleet's formation began to break down. Ships started moving in distinctly unmilitary patterns, their crystalline surfaces pulsing with multicolored lights. The flagship, still trying to maintain some semblance of dignity, found itself unwillingly performing what looked suspiciously like the cha-cha slide. Status report. Rodriguez called out, watching the chaos unfold on the main screen. The Empire's communication channels are in complete disarray, Lieutenant Chen reported, trying to keep a straight face. They're broadcasting, wait, is that Carameldenson? Admiral Chen, who had traded his golf sweater for a proper uniform, though he kept the Argyle socks, leaned over to examine the readings. It looks like their ship's crystalline matrix isn't just conducting our broadcasts, it's remixing them. They've become giant space-going jukeboxes. The Empire's ambassador made one last attempt to salvage the situation, appearing on Earth's screens once more. This time, however, its crystalline form was vibrating noticeably to the beat of, "You Can't Touch This." This is, most irregular, it managed to say, its voice modulating between octaves as another wave of music hit. "We demand that you cease this, oh no, is that, Cotton Eye Joe?" Dr. Wong's voice came through the command center speakers, sounding entirely too pleased with herself. "I've got the International Space Station crew loading up every viral video from the past decade. Should I hit them with Nyan Cat or go straight for the hamster dance?" Both, Rodriguez decided, starting on what she'd lost count of coffee cup. "And throw in Friday for good measure." If we're going to break their minds, we might as well be thorough. The alien fleet's response to this cultural onslaught was nothing short of spectacular. Ships began performing elaborate synchronized dance routines in space, their crystalline surfaces displaying what appeared to be a greatest hits compilation of internet memes. The flagship, still struggling to maintain control, found itself leading a galactic version of the electric slide. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity was having the time of its life. Social media exploded with videos of the dancing alien ships, #Space Disco Invasion became the top trending topic worldwide, and someone had already auto-tuned the ambassador's increasingly desperate messages into a chart-topping dance remix. "Commander," Lieutenant Chen called out, "we're picking up some unusual readings from the alien fleet. It looks like they're starting to broadcast their own signals back to us." The main screen filled with a cascade of transmissions from the alien ships. But instead of threats or demands, they were sending dance tutorials. The crystalline beings, it seemed, had become fascinated with human dance moves and were eager to share their own interpretations. Dr. Patel, Rodriguez said, watching as an alien ship attempted to teach the Macarena to its fleet mates, "I don't think this is quite what you predicted would happen." "Are you kidding?" Patel replied, now wearing two party hats. "This is better. We're not just defending Earth, we're creating the first intergalactic dance party." The Empire's ambassador made one final appearance, its crystalline form now sporting what appeared to be the alien equivalent of a disco ball attachment. "We may have been hasty in our approach," it admitted, swaying slightly to the remnants of Thriller still echoing through space. "Perhaps we should discuss this situation over what you call a coffee break." Admiral Chen burst out laughing. "Did we just defeat an alien invasion by turning it into a flash mob?" "Not just any flash mob," Dr. Wong interjected via video link, "the biggest flash mob in galactic history. And according to these readings, the Empire's ships are now downloading Earth's entire music library. I think we just became the galaxy's premier entertainment exporters." Commander Rodriguez looked at her empty coffee cup, then at the screens showing alien ships performing increasingly elaborate dance routines in space. "You know what? I think this calls for a celebration. Someone cue up the cha-cha slide, and this time, make sure the ambassador joins in." As Earth's defenders watched their unlikely victory unfold, Dr. Patel made an observation that would later be recorded in history books, right next to how Earth defeated an alien empire with dance moves. "Maybe this is why no other alien civilizations ever invaded Earth before," he mused. "They took one look at our entertainment industry and decided we were too chaotic to handle." Lieutenant Chen, who had given up maintaining military decorum and was now openly dancing at her station, added, "Or maybe they were just waiting for an invitation to the party." The day Earth turned an alien invasion into an intergalactic dance party would be remembered for centuries to come. But for Commander Rodriguez, watching the Empire's ships perform a surprisingly good rendition of YMCA in formation around the moon, only one thought crossed her mind. "I really need more coffee for this." Diplomatic dance steps. 2 weeks after what the internet had dubbed the Great Space Disco Invasion, Commander Jade Rodriguez found herself in what was possibly the strangest diplomatic meeting in human history. The United Nations General Assembly Hall had been transformed into something between a nightclub and a peace conference, with crystalline delegates from the Empire sharing their seats with Earth's representatives. The Empire's ambassador, who had now adorned its crystalline form with what appeared to be a bow tie made of pure light, was attempting to explain itself to the assembled delegates. "You must understand," it said, its voice now carrying a distinct rhythm that somehow matched the background music, courtesy of Dr. Wong's ongoing cultural exchange program. "In all our centuries of expansion, no species has ever responded to our invasion quite like this. Most planets just surrender or fight back in predictable ways," another crystalline delegate added, its surface displaying a looping animation of cat videos it had apparently become fond of. "You humans turned our own ships into entertainment systems. It's lit," suggested Dr. Patel, who had been invited to the proceedings due to his role in the defense and who had somehow managed to acquire yet another party hat. "Yes," the delegate exclaimed, pulsing with multicolored lights. "That's exactly the word we were looking for. Your species is lit." Admiral Chen, still wearing his lucky argyle socks under his dress uniform, leaned over to Rodriguez. "Did we just accidentally create an intergalactic cultural revolution?" "I think," Rodriguez replied, nursing her newly installed permanent coffee for drip, medical approval pending, "we did something even better. We showed them that conquest isn't nearly as fun as collaboration." The evidence of this transformation was visible even in Earth's orbit. The Empire's once threatening fleet had rearranged itself into what they called an artistic configuration, but what humans recognized as a giant orbital dance floor. Ships that had been designed for war were now broadcasting Earth's entertainment channels across the galaxy, making our planet the unexpected center of a vast cultural network. Dr. Lisa Wong, appearing on the giant screens that had been installed for the conference, was practically glowing with excitement. "The crystalline being's natural resonance abilities make them perfect transmitters for our music and media," she explained. "They're not just sharing our culture, they're enhancing it, adding their own harmonics and creating entirely new art forms." She demonstrated by playing a clip of what had once been Uptown Funk, now transformed by crystalline harmonics into something that made everyone in the room, human and alien alike, start involuntarily dancing. "We've had to establish new copyright laws that account for interdimensional broadcasting," a UN legal representative announced, trying to maintain dignity while doing what appeared to be an involuntary moonwalk. "The Empire's ships are now officially registered as both transportation devices and broadcasting stations." The ambassador, who had become surprisingly adept at human dance moves, raised what passed for its hand. "We would like to propose a formal alliance," it announced. "Not as conquerors and subjects, but as, what do you humans call it? Collab partners?" The phrase, collab partners, coming from a being that had threatened to conquer Earth just weeks ago caused several delegates to choke on their drinks. But as Rodriguez looked around the room, seeing humans and crystalline aliens enthusiastically sharing dance moves and memes, she realized this might be the most sensible diplomatic arrangement in history. "On one condition," she said, standing up. "You have to explain why you chose Comic Sans for your invasion threats." The ambassador's surface rippled in what they had learned was the crystalline equivalent of embarrassment. "We thought it looked friendly. Our cultural research department suggested it was a well-respected font on your planet." The room erupted in laughter, and even the ambassador joined in, its crystalline form creating a dazzling light show. Dr. Patel, who had been analyzing the aliens' cultural database, made a mental note to never let them discover papyrus. As the diplomatic proceedings continued, Earth was undergoing its own transformation. The defensive installations that had been hastily converted into broadcasting stations were being permanently repurposed as cultural exchange centers. The Sydney Opera House now regularly hosted concerts that were transmitted across the galaxy, its crystalline acoustics enhancement making it the most sought-after venue in known space. The International Space Station, having finally resolved its Netflix issues, with some help from their new crystalline friends, had become a popular spot for what the crew called zero-gravity dance battles. The sight of astronauts and crystalline beings performing synchronized dance routines in space had become the most watched entertainment program in 7-star systems. Lieutenant Chen, who had been monitoring the Galactic Communications Network, reported an unexpected development. "Commander, we're receiving requests from other alien civilizations. They want to participate in our entertainment programs." Rodriguez, who had finally achieved the perfect coffee-to-blood ratio, smiled. "Are they asking to join the invasion or the dance party?" "Both, actually," Chen replied, scrolling through the messages. "Though most of them seem more interested in learning the Macarena than conquering Earth. There's even a federation of silicon-based life forms requesting a TikTok account." Admiral Chen, who had taken to carrying a golf club as a ceremonial staff, the aliens found it charmingly eccentric, shook his head in amazement. "When I joined the military, I never expected to end up as part of an intergalactic entertainment committee. Look on the bright side, Rodriguez said, at least your golf game has improved. Those crystalline beings are surprisingly good at calculating trajectories. The ambassador, overhearing their conversation, chimed in. We have analyzed your sport of golf and believe it would be much improved by the addition of synchronized light shows and background music. Please don't give them ideas, Chen muttered, but it was too late. Dr. Wong was already sharing concepts for what she called Disco Golf, the Intergalactic edition. As the day's diplomatic session drew to a close, Rodriguez found herself standing next to the ambassador, watching Earth rotate peacefully below them through the UN building's massive windows. You know, she said, when you first appeared in our orbit, I thought it was going to be the worst Tuesday of my life. The ambassador's crystalline form shimmered with what they now recognized as amusement. And now? Now I think it might have been the best Tuesday ever. Though I'm still not forgiving you for interrupting my Korean drama marathon. Ah, about that, the ambassador's surface displayed what looked suspiciously like a streaming service interface. Would you be interested in our galaxy's collection of entertainment? We have some shows that make your Korean dramas look quite simple in comparison. Rodriguez raised an eyebrow. Are you offering to trade Earth's memes for alien soap operas? Consider it a cultural exchange program, the ambassador replied. Though I must warn you, our season finales can cause temporary gravitational distortions. Looking out at the transformed Earth, where crystalline ships now peacefully orbited alongside satellites broadcasting an endless stream of human culture to the stars, Rodriguez couldn't help but laugh. They had turned an invasion into a party, an enemy into an ally, and somehow made Earth the entertainment capital of the known universe. And it all started with an interrupted coffee break on a Tuesday afternoon. The Universal Remix. 6 months after the Tuesday that changed everything, Commander Jade Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of humanity's first intergalactic entertainment hub, a massive space station that looked like someone had successfully crossed the Las Vegas Strip with a disco ball. The station, officially named the United Earth Cultural Exchange Center, but universally known as the Remix, had become the hottest venue in 7 galaxies. You know, Admiral Chen said, standing beside her in what had become his signature look, a military uniform tastefully accessorized with argyle socks and a golf club ceremonial staff. When I pictured humanity's first major space station, I didn't expect it to have a dance floor that changes gravitational fields to match the beat. At least it's not boring, Rodriguez replied, watching through the observation window as a group of crystalline beings performed a perfectly synchronized zero-gravity version of the Thriller dance alongside human instructors. Her coffee, now enhanced with what the Empire called temporal stabilizers, which somehow kept it at the perfect temperature indefinitely, floated beside her in a specially designed anti-gravity cup. Dr. Patel burst into the observation deck, wearing what appeared to be a holographic lab coat that pulsed in time with the station's background music. Commander. Admiral. You need to see this. He practically bounced off the walls with excitement, which, thanks to the station's variable gravity systems, he literally could do. What is it this time? Rodriguez asked, catching her coffee before it could drift away. Please tell me the silicon-based life forms haven't tried to remix Baby Shark again. The last time nearly caused a temporal anomaly. Better. Patel pulled up a holographic display. Remember how the Empire's ships used to communicate through crystalline resonance? Well, Dr. Wong and I have been working with their engineers, and we've discovered something incredible. The entire universe, it has a background frequency. And guess what? It's in April 4th time. Admiral Chen blinked. Are you telling me the universe has a beat? Not just a beat, Dr. Wong's voice came through the station's communication system. Her hologram appeared beside them, showing her in her lab on Earth where she was surrounded by complex equipment and what looked suspiciously like a giant interstellar mixing board. It's an entire cosmic symphony. The Empire's crystalline technology doesn't just respond to our music, it's actually tapping into the fundamental rhythms of spacetime itself. The implications were staggering. What had started as an impromptu defense strategy had led to a breakthrough in understanding the very nature of the universe. Humanity and the Empire had accidentally stumbled upon what theoretical physicists were now calling the universal groove theory. The ambassador, who had become a regular at the Remix's weekly karaoke nights, materialized in the observation deck. Its crystalline form now permanently incorporated a bowtie pattern, and it had taken to displaying various Earth memes across its surface during conversations. "This discovery changes everything," it said, its surface currently showing a looping animation of a cat playing piano. "The Seven Suns Empire was founded on the principle of harmony through conquest. But you humans showed us something far more powerful, harmony through collaboration." Lieutenant Chen's voice came through the intercom, interrupting the moment. "Commander, you might want to see this. We're picking up signals from, well, everywhere. It seems word has gotten out about the universal groove theory." The main display screen activated, showing hundreds of incoming transmissions from across the galaxy. Alien civilizations that had never contacted Earth before were reaching out, not with threats or diplomatic overtures, but with their own musical contributions to what was rapidly becoming the greatest collaborative playlist in the history of the universe. Is that a methane-based life form doing the Cupid shuffle?" Admiral Chen asked, squinting at one of the feeds. "Actually, I think it's their interpretation of K-pop," Dr. Wong corrected. "They've been particularly impressed by BTS. Though in their atmosphere, all the dance moves have to be performed in liquid form." The Remix had become more than just a space station, it was now the central hub of a vast cultural network that spanned the known universe. Species that had once been on the brink of war were now competing in intergalactic dance-offs. Ancient enemies found common ground in their shared appreciation of Earth's reality TV shows, though explaining the concept of The Bachelor to a hive mind collective had been particularly challenging. Dr. Patel, who had somehow acquired yet another party hat, this one made of pure energy, was practically vibrating with excitement. "We've got plasma beings from the Carina Nebula remixing classical music, crystalline entities doing break-dance battles, and a gas giant's atmosphere that's turned itself into a natural subwoofer. This isn't just cultural exchange anymore, it's cultural evolution." Rodriguez looked out at the space around the station, where ships of all shapes and sizes now gathered for what had become known as the Universal Freedom Festival, a continuous celebration of music, dance, and artistic expression that never really ended. It just moved around the galaxy like a cosmic tour. "Commander," Lieutenant Chen's voice came through again, "the United Earth Council is on the line. They want to know if you'll accept the position of Director of Intergalactic Cultural Affairs." Rodriguez nearly choked on her temporarily stabilized coffee. "They want me to what?" "Well," Admiral Chen said, grinning, "you did turn an alien invasion into a dance party that eventually led to the discovery of the fundamental rhythm of the universe. I'd say you're qualified." The ambassador's surface rippled with amusement. "Besides, someone needs to keep the methane-based life forms from attempting to recreate Gangnam Style near any open flames. That last attempt nearly created a new sun." Looking around at what they had created, a space station that doubled as an entertainment venue, a peaceful alliance forged through shared love of music and dance, and a new understanding of the universe that united science and art, Rodriguez couldn't help but smile. "You know what?" she said, "I'll take the job. But I have two conditions." "Name them," the ambassador replied. "First, we're officially banning Comic Sans from all diplomatic communications." "That's fair." "And second," she held up her coffee cup, "we're making these temporal stabilizers standard issue. I refuse to drink cold coffee while managing the galaxy's biggest ongoing party." As the various beings in the observation deck laughed, or their species equivalent of laughter, Rodriguez looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, countless civilizations were discovering Earth's culture, adding their own unique elements to it, and creating something entirely new. The universe, it turned out, didn't need conquering, it just needed a really good playlist and a chance to dance. And it all started because some aliens made the mistake of interrupting a coffee break on a Tuesday afternoon. In the depths of space, the beat of the universe played on, now accompanied by an endless symphony of music from countless worlds. Earth had found its place in the galaxy not through military might or advanced technology, but through the simple, powerful act of getting everyone to dance together. As for Commander Rodriguez, she finally got to finish that Korean drama series, though now she watched it with commentary from 15 different species, each with their own unique interpretation of Earth's entertainment. And somehow, that made it even better.